Hey, this is Matt Sorum from Velvet Revolver, and you're listening to the Paulie Z Show.
Yo, 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 it's the Paulie Z Show, and we are episode 12. This is actually part 2 of my 3-part Los Angeles series. When I'm out in LA, I'm always having a good time, enjoying the nice weather. Actually, back home, it's about 14 degrees. So, and out here, I have short sleeves, and I'm just loving it. And today, well, last week we had Frank Stallone, who obviously, great guest, and just perfect for radio, because that guy can talk, and that guy has, charisma coming out of his freaking ass. So he is a great guest. Today, I have Mr. Matt Sorum, wonderful drummer extraordinaire, and I'm a big fan. And well, first of all, say hi.
Hello, yo.
No.
What up, dude?
Oh, wait a second. It's Frank Stallone
Yeah,
again.
he's still here, yo.
Wait a second. He
No.
never left.
No, what's up, dude? How are you?
Now you got to talk so different so that people
Yeah.
don't get you confused.
What's up, man?
Hey, Matt. How are you?
I'm Matt from California.
Hey.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was born in California.
But isn't your name like Swedish or something?
It's
like that?
Norwegian.
Norwegian.
Originally, it was Sorum,
Sorum.
which would be Sorum with a little slash through the O. So the O becomes I. So it's Sorum.
Sorum?
Yeah.
Say good?
And there is a town in Norway called Sorum.
Sorum.
Yeah, and I went there when I was with Guns N' Roses back in the day, and I got a key to the city of the town of Sorum.
That is awesome.
And, yeah. And I don't know if you've ever gone to the land of Norway, but it's quite lovely.
I can imagine.
The women are quite beautiful. I don't know if it's the water, the cheese, or the beer, or what it is, but
What are the surrounding countries of Norway?
that'd be Sweden.
Well, that's where the
just-
girls are right there.
That's happening too. That's just across the water, and then down below Norway is Copenhagen, the home country of Lars Ulrich. And yeah,
Now, do you always say it like that when you talk to people?
no, you gotta rap down with Lars Ulrich. He actually has a Danish drum tech too, and they speak in Danish when they're on stage with Metallica. I don't know if anyone knew that.
That is a Paulie.
You fix my snare drum now immediately. You bring me some herring. But Finland is just above there.
Okay.
Which is kind of a weird place. Talk about herring. If you want, I know this is a food channel
Yes.
too, but
Well,
wow.
I'm Jewish, so herring. I grew up with herring.
You did?
Oh,
Well,
herring,
I'll tell you.
sardines, and onions.
Yeah.
My friends hated me on the school bus. Hated me.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember I called my friend one time. I'm kind of going off the beaten path here, but
There's no path. Just so you know.
I was in Prague, Czechoslovakia. I said, "Oh my God, you got to see the women here." He goes, "Yeah, but do they smell like liver and dumplings?"
Did they?
Kinda. But boy, are they hot. But anyway, Finland, nothing but herring. You go, "Hey, I'd like to have a sandwich, please." They go, "Would that be a herring sandwich?" And I go, "Oh God." Everything was herring. I'd like some spaghetti with herring. Yeah.
How's LA for herring and? Because I noticed I can't find a bialy here. No one knows what a gefilte fish is. I mean, it's like
Gefilte fish. All you got to do is go right over there to Fairfax District. Come on, you
What's
can find
Fairfax?
gefilte fish.
that like the Jewish
Fairfax,
area?
yeah, it's Jewish
Oh,
area.
okay.
Yeah, they're hooked up on gefilte fish over there.
I didn't realize.
I think they got a gefilte fish market over there.
Do they
in
really?
Fairfax.
So why? That's where I should be. I should be in Fairfax
Yeah.
with my people.
Are you a Jewish man?
Half and half. My
Yeah.
mom's from Colombia, from Barranquilla, and my father's he's American, but his family's from Białystok, Poland.
Right.
Jewish.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's where you got that crazy curly hair and that funky vibe.
That's it.
From Colombia.
Well, I try to promote to the world. I try to promote to mix the races. That's how you get the best.
I once
think.
got a gram of cocaine in Colombia for $3.
Really?
Yeah.
Might have been my uncle. It could have been my uncle.
You know what I said? I'll take DAs. I said, $30? Are you kidding me? I was high for like a month. It was awesome.
No way. You got to educate me. I don't know anything about drugs. How does that work? How much do you get for $30?
That's a lot. That's enough to just completely numb your entire face.
$30?
Oh, in your entire body and some.
Really?
Yeah.
So I thought it was expensive. I thought cocaine was expensive.
But not in Colombia because they make it
No,
there.
but here, what
and
about
they
here?
actually throw in a couple chicks with it too.
What? What? Wait. So
You got to go.
yeah.
I mean, you're half Colombian.
Hold on. Here's my Jew talking. If I give him $20, can I get the chicks and they keep the coke? I've only got 20.
No.
Keep the coke. I just want the chicks.
You're in. Yeah.
Damn it.
And you have a Columbia card, you're in. You're like, oh, he's one of us.
Yeah.
No.
Like, look at my mom. The pictures of me and my mom.
And they won't bury you in the forest and kidnap you because you are Colombian.
That is true. That is true. But I mean, could you tell if I didn't tell you? Some people say yes. Some people say no.
I can see. I would think more like Cuban or something.
Really? Oh, but
you
some
got,
Spanish.
Yeah, definitely. Like
I have
you
like
got
the lips, like thick lips and the nose cut up.
Yeah, and you got the Latin kind of hair kind of thing going on.
Yeah,
for sure.
I always tell people I'm Jewish from the waist up, the brain, and Latin from the waist down.
Oh yeah, sexy.
Latin in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Are you Norwegian? Like
Norwegian. I'm Norwegian and English.
In English, okay.
My mother's side was Winslow, so it's a very English name. But
you were born and raised in California.
Yeah, I was born and raised in California.
You Americano.
Yeah, my father's side of the family's from Minnesota, and for some reason, a lot of the Scandinavians all went to like a really cold place that looked a lot like where they came from. So they all kind of
Immigrated. Wait, hold on. Let's get the online dictionary.
Let me ask you. If you're living in Minnesota right now, you're hibernating. Okay, it's about 40 below zero.
All right, that was a good save. Good save.
Good save. They immigrated to Minnesota. So if you go up to Minnesota and open the phone book, there's a ton of Sudums, right? And a lot of names like that. Bergs and those kind of names that come from Scandinavia. But my father's side of the family all migrated there. Did I say migrate? It's like a bird.
Oh my God! Hold on.
Immigrated. They migrate. They hibernate.
Webster defines migrate.
Hey, if I was a bird in Minnesota right now, I'd be in Cabo San Lucas. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, on the beach, drinking some Sammy Hagar Cabo Wabo tequila. That's what I'd be doing. But no, they all moved there, and my mom hated the weather. And she said, "I'm going to divorce you, Dad," and took me and my brothers out here to California.
Okay.
So I was grew up a little bit early on in Minnesota. But my mom, I always say this, my parents got divorced over the weather. My dad says, "But we like 4 seasons here in Minnesota," and it's like Fargo kind of talk there.
Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota.
Is that okay?
And my mom said, "We're out of here. I hate the weather." So she took me, and luckily I grew up in Laguna Beach, California, Mission Viejo area. And
where's that in relation to where we are? Like I'm still getting the geographical.
Well, we're in Holly. Well, we're actually right here. We are in what we call Beverly Hills adjacent.
Right.
Because they want to make sure they keep the price of the houses up, so they call it
right next to. We're right next to Beverly Hills, so we can tag an extra $1,000 to the rent.
And if you go another block that way, you just get robbed. So it's like we're in Beverly Hills adjacent,
right.
Hollywood, Los Angeles.
Okay.
You go south about 60, 70 miles, and you're in kind of mid-Orange County, where I grew up, Mission Viejo, and then you go south another, hour. If you go about an hour and a half south of here, you're in San Diego.
So San Diego from Los Angeles, couple hours.
Couple hours.
Because I heard San Diego's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
That's what I hear.
Just a whole different vibe going on down there, a lot more suburban. So I grew up in a little suburban town called Mission Viejo, and, surfed my whole life, and my first girlfriend, we'd share an avocado alfalfa sprout sandwich with a smoothie, and she had blonde hair on her legs. It was it was
avocado
hot.
sandwich with alfalfa. You want to hear something funny? I'm gonna freak you out right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not lying. I just started eating avocados like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even know what it was.
That was a mainstay when you grew up on the beach.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole health trip, that everyone, since we're talking about food,
yeah,
that whole health experience really did start in California, and I think it really came from that hippie era of the 70s. And it's sort of, let's go organic, while you're smoking a really great organic joint.
Well, it's more like close to the land, kind of, right? With earth and stuff.
I mean, I was a big-time dope smoker, but I always frequented the health food store.
So you're healthy. You would say a healthy eater.
I was a very healthy eater.
That's weird.
Growing up,
and I'm the exact opposite because I never did drugs.
Right.
I tried weed like as a novelty, so 5 times. I remember every time. I've been drunk a couple of times in my life. Never smoked a cigarette, anything like that. But I eat like 85 chicken nuggets at Wendy's.
Wow.
I had 10 slices of pizza at Joe's Pizza.
White Castle burgers.
Not so much White Castle, but I've done 7 double quarter pounders with cheese at McDonald's.
Ooh.
One sitting.
Oh my God! Have you seen that movie where the guy?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Jesus, that'll kill you.
Yeah, well,
that's like worse than drugs, man.
Yeah. Dude, you should just get into cocaine. You'd be a lot healthier. Everybody's got their thing. That's my thing.
But it's very interesting to see this whole organic craze happen now with food because, I grew up like that. We didn't have ding dongs in the house and Twinkies and.
But was it around you? I'm just
It
curious.
was around. There was kids that had it, and I would go over there and go, "Dude, you holding a ding dong?" You know, I mean, like, you know.
Do your parents know? Does mom know?
You know, and I would go in there and just raid their ding dong and Twinkie cabinet, but
That didn't sound too good.
But we didn't have. Yeah.
You just raid, I just go in there and just grab their ding dong, creamy ding dong,
creamy Twinkie.
Would you say it was more the mentality? The common mentality was like to eat healthier.
I think so. The common mentality was being in, like I said, that beach community. A lot of the parents that were, you know, in the mid 70s when I was growing up, everyone was kind of in that hippie era coming out of the 60s. And so, you know, I came up really as a healthy eater. And, you know, my girlfriend, who was a little surfer chick who was like super natural looking, her dad invented the Have-A-Chip. Have you ever had Have-A-Chips?
No.
They're awesome.
What is it?
Well, it's like a toast, like a regular tortilla chip,
okay.
but it's made with soy sauce instead of like salt.
Okay.
So the spices are all natural. And there used to be a little smoothie shake shop on the corner of Laguna Beach, and it was called Have-A-Chip. And that's where that whole thing started. And if people go to the health food store, there's like Have-A-Chips are huge now. They're like multi-million-dollar company.
Across the country?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not,
Yeah,
I can
but-
go to New York and find a Have-A-Chip?
If you went to the health food store, like,
Yeah.
do you guys have
Whole Foods?
You have
We
Whole
have Whole
Foods?
Foods.
Oh yeah, you
Well,
get
we that's the big one, but we've got tons now, and it's funny because I'm seeing it more now. And when I was a kid, you didn't see that stuff.
Right.
Like everything's like just pizza and burgers. And I
Right.
mean, New York is a very different mentality.
Yeah.
You know, it's a steak, meat and potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Big porterhouses. That's how I grew up.
Well, you know the Homestead down in the meatpacking district.
Oh, do I know the Homestead?
Yeah. Good. Check.
Come on, my stomach is
Yeah.
very. See, I can't speak. Why do I have a podcast? I can't. I butcher the English language,
You're
and they
just-
give me a podcast.
Well, the thing was, you were salivating about the meat.
Yeah,
While you,
I was like the old. But
were-
yes,
you
I
were salivating.
love the old Homestead.
Yeah.
One of the best steaks.
well, Axel, I'll tell you a quick story about the Homestead.
Okay.
Axl Rose, a singer I used to be in a band with.
Oh, what band was that?
Yeah, he
I've heard of that guy.
He would show up a lot late for shows, and we would go on stage late a lot.
You
So-
lie. You lie.
So he felt bad for the crew. This was his way of apologizing. He took the entire crew to the Homestead,
What?
right? And there was about 35 guys that worked for
And that's for people that don't know. It's the old Homestead is like one of those steakhouses, very pricey.
very pricey.
You know, but worth it. It's like you get that quality
right.
meat. So.
Since we're talking about food, I'm just diving right into the food category.
Go.
So here we are.
Look, I need Alex, get me some paper towels. I don't
wants-
want to drool in front of the guests.
You know what he wants? He wants some Kobe beef.
I was just at Morton's yesterday.
Oh,
you ever go to
God,
Morton's?
I love
It was my
Morton's.
first time.
The blackened ribeye.
No, I had the filet and I picked it out.
Ooh,
That's cool. They say, which one do you want? I said, I don't know which one. I don't know.
Yeah,
They're all
Morton's.
red. They're red.
Hey, you know, Morton's is a very, you know, the thing I like about Morton's when I'm on the road and I'm touring, and we'll go back to the Homestead in a
Yes.
minute. We're
Oh,
talking
I didn't
about,
forget about the
since we're
Homestead.
talking about meat. it's you know, it's very reputable and consistent. So when you're on tour and going across the country, go to pretty much any Morton's and you're gonna have a really great meal. Like, you don't take a chance of like, hey, look at that place over there. There's Ernie's Steakhouse. You know, you don't
Right.
know what you're gonna get. So when I'm on the road, and I'm like, let's say I'm in, I don't know, Cleveland, and I got a night off, and I want to get a good meal because I've been eating catering from
Right.
like, talk
Right.
about fried chicken, and I go to Morton's, and I go, give me the blackened.
Blackened what?
The ribeye.
Okay. This is Matt Sorum's
Uh,
Morton's recommendation.
Cajun ribeye, it's called.
Cajun ribeye. Okay.
Yeah, Cajun ribeye,
Cajun ribeye. Now,
medium.
what we got was, and we will get back to Axel, don't worry. But what we got was, this is my first time. My friend suggested, he said they had like this prefix.
Right.
So it's the better deal. It comes with the soup, it comes with the side, the dessert, and
Oh.
everything like that. Is that what you get?
No,
or you
I go
just-
I go crazy. I just do all the sides. I do the mushrooms, the seared mushrooms. I get the wedge salad.
mac and cheese.
Max crazy.
mac and
I do like the asparagus with like hollandaise sauce
Oh, I didn't.
A lot of people aren't
you know
big
what's funny?
asparagus
I
guys.
love asparagus.
because it makes your pee smell funny.
Does it?
Yeah.
I don't smell like pea.
The
so I
chicks
know.
don't dig it.
I love asparagus.
Yeah, you do. Well,
I don't like hollandaise sauce though.
No.
No.
Little too.
I gotta tell you one
little
thing.
too
though.
suspect.
You know what's funny? The cream spinach.
Yeah.
Not as good as I thought. How do you screw up cream spinach? It's like it was.
Right.
It was just a little bland. Like it
Was
didn't
it?
have that. You know when you have cream spinach and you like it has like this punch to it. There's that-
Yeah. Ooh. Okay.
And
Now
this was a
wait. Did
little
you
bland.
try? Did you try the Godiva chocolate cake though? At the end,
my friend had it, and I
you
had
got to
it.
order it before you order your meal.
Well, I got key lime pie. Yeah, because they bake it
Yeah.
right, like
yeah.
fresh and stuff.
And it just
But,
kind of like melts. And
the scallops wrapped with the bacon.
Oh, I haven't had
On,
that.
oh,
You know what I do?
oh,
I
Matt,
do.
let's go right now. The scallops with the bacon.
Let's
and
blow
the
off this
shrimp.
podcast.
Come on, go.
No, you know what you know what else is good? The shrimp Alexander.
Now, hold on. Is that the one that is it? It's almost like a little breaded in like a hollandaise.
You know what? I
sauce?
think we should call Morton's right now. We're doing their commercial for them.
Yeah, that's how we're getting sponsorships. We're hoping to get it out. We already got out. We're talking to Outback. You know, my first podcast before I had any guests, like we were just playing around with this. It's just like, let's see what happens. It was just me, and they're like, let's see if you can talk.
Yeah.
It's like I talk. I can't shut up. So you need an off button. So I talked about the Outback Steakhouse. And I thought it might have been. It felt like it was like, look at you getting all comfortable. Matt Sorum is getting undressed right now, by the way. I started talking. It felt like maybe 8 minutes I was talking.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just going through the menu. Like, this is what I like, and this is the bread, and this and that. I get off. I'm like, so how long was that? Did I hit 10 minutes? They're like, you were talking about Outback Steakhouse for 45 minutes.
Oh, my God.
About the bread and butter at Outback. to nobody. Can you imagine just talking?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
You were hungry.
Yeah, no, I'm passionate. Look, I am passionate about food. I love food so much.
Speaking of food, you know that Homestead gig.
Yeah, what
with-
about the homestead?
So
you
Axel.
have any good stories about the old homestead?
So the Homestead. So Axel brings the crew, right? And you know, here's a 2.5-year tour where he's showed up 2 hours late pretty much every night. And basically, the crew. I don't know how many people really realize how hard the crew works, but basically the crew loads in about 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, they set up all the crap. The pop stars being us, we show up like if we show up to sound check at like 4. For like 10 minutes ago. Yes, that sucks, and fix that, and you know, where's my bottle of champagne? You know, and take the brown M&Ms out of the jar.
How come we don't have crew to yell at? Why can't I have? I want some crew to yell at.
I never did that. I was very pro crew guy. But anyway, and then you know, then they got to load out. So
Right.
when you're done with the gig, say you're done at 11 o'clock, those dudes are loading the truck till 2 o'clock in the morning.
And then they have to travel.
Then
It's
they
like
drive.
You usually have what was your sort of average mileage between shows?
Well, you know, we would do
8
probably
hours?
8-hour
8
runs.
hours,
But when
yeah.
Guns N' Roses, we had a plane, but the crew was on a bus.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. The crew guys are on a
Yeah,
bus.
8 to 10 hours.
It's
You know,
insane.
so then you got to imagine they're trying to sleep on this bouncy bus going across the country, and then they get up and do it all over again. So what I'm saying is Axel would show up 2 hours late, so that put 2 more hours on their loadout. So they'd be loading out at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then by the time they got in the bus, they had to make the next gig. Okay, we'd be a bit late. They kept putting things back, but basically what I'm saying is they didn't get any sleep.
Right.
So Axel said, "Oh, hey, I'm going to bring you guys to the Homestead." So Axel shows up late to his own dinner, and I say to the guys, I say, "Order whatever you want, you guys." Right? So guys are ordering like Louis the 13th shots. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Comes
No.
in Baccarat
Is that
Crystal.
expensive?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about $700 a shot.
What is it? What is
It's a
whiskey or
fine.
something?
It's a fine cognac.
Cognac. Okay.
Comes in a bottle. It comes in a bottle. It's made by Baccarat Crystal.
Okay.
And you know they were ordering Dom Perignon and Kobe beef, which you know can be
yeah.
you know $100 a bite, you know, stuff like that. Get some oysters, get whatever. So Axel shows up and they hand him the bill. And it was like 35 grand. You know, he paid it. But they didn't take the piss out of him. But it was really like, they deserved
It's
it.
a little payback.
Yeah, why
You know,
not?
enjoying
But
it.
the Homestead, wow.
Homestead is great.
Yeah.
Have you been? Hold on. Have you been? Since we're on steaks, have you been to Peter Luger's?
I have been to Peter Luger's.
What do you think? I think it's the best still.
But
I'm not as experienced. I'm just learning now.
what's the best steak I've had? I think Peter Luger's is right up there.
Burns? Have you been to Burns? I just went there. Tampa Bay.
No.
Largest wine collection in the planet.
Really?
You know that? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
God, I don't
Yes.
drink wine anymore, but if I did, I'd clear. I'd try.
You try clearing them out.
I would. God.
Me and you at a steakhouse would be very funny because it'd be like more champagne,
Well,
and I'm
you know-
like more ribeye.
Well, I would if I was doing a nice steak, I'd have a nice Cabernet Sauvignon, or I might back it up with maybe a French Chateau Margaux 59, possibly a 61.
59.
If you want to just jump straight into wine.
I don't. But I can't. I'll listen, but I can't talk about it.
Once one of the most. And let me just. If you want to talk about steak and wine, I think the kind of wine that is obviously a red to go with the meat.
Why? Why is that? I know nothing, so you need to educate me.
It's something about the aroma and the taste that makes the steak almost taste better.
Well, one thing I did notice is the reds that I've had.
Right.
They're like thicker, like richer, full body,
Right.
and they sometimes have like that sweeter taste. Like the white one's a little bit more champagne-y, like thinner, a little bit more.
It depends what you're drinking. I mean, there's so much different stuff out there, but traditionally a Cabernet Sauvignon with a steak, or you can go French and go to a Bordeaux, or something a little more hearty. But that's a very hearty meal. When you're going for a steak, it's very rich. You got a rich glass of wine. Traditionally, people drink white wine with fish and chicken.
Okay.
Either a Chardonnay.
Red meat, red wine.
Usually, yeah.
White meat, white fish.
Usually, and you could go Chardonnay, or you can go into something more Pouilly Foussé, or something on the lighter thing. If you want a little bit lighter wine with a steak to sort of offset the heaviness, a Pinot Noir is really nice.
That's what? Red?
It's a lighter wine. You don't want to say Merlot, because Merlot just isn't really stand up. It's like it's a red, but it's a lighter red.
Okay.
But there's some really fine Pinot Noirs now.
You know what I like though? What was the port like for dessert?
Yeah, port.
That's pretty cool because it's sweet.
It is. That's a dessert wine, from Portugal, obviously.
Is that what it comes from?
And
I used to because they would get it at the port, like the ship would come into.
Well, yeah, right there outside of that Lisbon, Portugal.
Right.
And then the port came over to Brazil, and there's a lot of Portuguese in Brazil. That's why they speak the language.
Right.
So there's really fine ports too. I mean, you can get really expensive, glasses of port after dinner. But I used to like to finish up my dinner with a Grand Marnier and a little bit of coffee.
Why?
Just the taste of it is really quite nice. It's a little bit sweet, but it's got a bit of a hazelnut taste to it. It's like a dessert.
Which one?
The Grand Marnier. So it gives you a little bit of a hazelnut taste in your coffee, and just kind of cleanses the palate.
Do you sing at all? Back up and
I do.
So did you? Because I had this conversation with Frank on the previous podcast, and as a singer, one of the reasons I never got into alcohol, also or coffee, I very rarely drink coffee unless it's decaf, is because of the caffeine. Like I feel the dryness. I've always been warned about it. My teacher tells me to stay away from it. Do you ever, you drink coffee or wine or whatever, and do you notice a difference, or?
Oh yeah, well it definitely dry you out when you're singing for sure, and that's why you probably drink room temperature water too, right?
Yep.
Because you don't want to drink cold water when you're singing.
And Frank was telling me he's drinking like ice water with like Jack Daniels before the show, and I guess it's just maybe he's just so used to it. Like
God, I know those singers that they can't sing unless they drink Jack Daniels or Scotch.
But why? I don't understand it.
Well, I had a buddy that was in a band with, and he would drink Jack Daniels, and he just sounded like Joe Cocker. He was like, but at the end of the show, he was completely
wrecked.
Wrecked, yeah. So,
the only time I ever did it was like when if I was sick or I was just struggling, like after maybe I was just burnt out or whatever. I hate doing it. I hate admitting that I did this, but if I really was having trouble, I would take like a little Black Label. And this is just somewhat people told me.
Scotch.
Like a little trick. Yeah, little trick. Now and then, Chris Barron from the Spin Doctors actually told me he got me into Southern Comfort instead. And again, I don't like it. I just did it for medicinal purposes.
Right.
And I would take a shot of it before the show, and I guess it was a combination of relaxing me, and it like warmed up my throat or whatever, and I was able to sing.
Yeah.
But the next day I was wrecked.
Wow. Axl and Scott both took vocal lessons from Ron Anderson.
Same guy, really?
Yeah, and it was almost like a buffet on my Drummerizer. They would have like a bowl of potato chips. I don't know if you ever heard this.
No.
Which has got a lot of salt.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
But I think they had some special ones imported from like wherever.
They both had the same thing. Hold on, this is good stuff. Hold on.
And they had a little bowl of ham, chunks of ham.
Ham. Did they tell you why?
I don't know, but it literally looked like a smorgasbord on my Drummerizer. I mean, I could have gone up there and had a meal.
Tea? What about did they do like herbal
tea? They had weird
tea?
Teas. He had this cayenne pepper concoction with like honey and all this weird lemon stuff. I know you know about cayenne pepper.
No.
It's like if you kind of phlegmy and breaks it.
I'm always phlegmy, yeah.
Yeah, you go in there and break it up. So he'd have this other cayenne thing, and then he'd have like this weird like broth, soupy kind of trip, and all this shit would be laid out on my Drummerizer. And I'm like, You're killing me over here. You know,
Where's the herring? The herring.
Come on, no ham. I love pigs. You know, I don't do the ham.
See, I'd be mine would be like a herring and sardines and gefilte fish.
Yeah.
It's like why is there a porterhouse by my snare drum?
Yeah. Hey, this is off limits to, you know, when I first joined Guns N' Roses, they spit like all the time. Like Duff would do these huge loogies up in the air, and they would land, and you know, it looked like half his brain came out.
Yeah.
You know, it was disgusting. You know, to land on my cymbal. Finally, I put a no spitting sign on my drum riser. I'm like, do not spit in this direction. And in those days, I was a much bigger guy. I was about 220 pounds and looked like a biker. And I drank a lot of this beer called Newcastle Brown Ale. I could put back at least a case of that a day. So not only did you not want to fuck with me, but I was drunk.
Right.
So it's like
John Bonham over here.
You could ask Axl. You know, he would be like, oh fuck, you know. And so anyway, I said no spitting in the vicinity. And then Axl comes out with this smorgasbord, you know, on my drum riser. You know, I'm like, hey, what's with that? You know, come on, man, you're killing me over here. But
us singers, we get the priority.
I know,
right? We get cradled.
Yeah,
we get cradled.
I know. And you know, the old expression is you can't live with them, can't live without them.
That's true.
God bless them. You know, I mean, people always ask me, what was it like to work with Axl? What was it like to work?
I didn't ask you that.
What was it like to work with Scott?
I asked you what you like to eat.
I know. And I say, you know what? Hey, you know what? I was happy to be there. If it wasn't me, it would have been some other guy.
Yeah, of course.
And I had an amazing time.
You can't take away that experience.
The parts I can remember. You know, I'm actually going to start a book for Duff. Duff McKagan's going to write a book, and I'm going to write it. It's going to be called Duff McKagan, The Shit I Don't Remember by Matt Sorum. And Slash's book came out, and I read it. I go, you motherfucker, you had a dictaphone. Those are all my stories.
That was a good book. I like it.
I said, send your fucking cash donations to Matt Sorum, because those are my stories, not his.
Well, did you find, like, working with the two of them, I mean, they seem very similar as far as, like, you know, their lifestyle and their mentality. Did you find that it was like just working with another Axl, or were there a whole new set of problems?
Slash and
no, Scott and Axl.
Oh, Scott.
Was it like, oh, here we go again?
Kind of here we go again, yeah. Scott and Axl were very similar.
They seem like it.
And I think you get that from a great singer and a great frontman.
Uh-oh.
But I heard you're a nice guy.
Yeah, so what does that mean? Oh,
You're
shit.
screwed.
Fuck. Damn it.
You got to act like a psycho, man. Number one, you get more money, you get your own limo, you get your own dressing room.
Well, you know what? They give me a hard time when I just ask for like stupid little things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, can I get room temperature water? Oh, there he goes again.
Yeah.
The singer wants room temperature water. And
You know
I'm
what?
like,
Keep
okay.
it up, man. Keep it up. I say.
See?
Before
Alex, are you hearing this? My producer Alex is back there. He yells at me for any little thing I ask for.
Take that shit.
I'm
just walk out, man.
Such a good, nice front man.
Hey, you know what? There's no show without you, baby.
That's right.
And you should know that.
I do know that, but I try not to exploit that. Are you basically telling me that I get nice front men just doomed? Am I doomed?
I think you could be more of a dick, a little bit more eccentric.
All right, all right. Hold on. Show me how. What should I do?
You know what?
Like, give me an example. What should I do?
Well, let me put it to you this way. When Velvet Revolver was looking for a singer, you know, we still are looking for a singer, and talking about things like that. But there was a couple of guys that we had in the room, and they were super, like, on time, doing the job, sang in key.
I'm going to write this down. Wait, don't be on time.
Weren't on drugs.
Don't be on key.
And I said to Slash and Duff and Dave, I'm like, is there a problem here? I said, these guys are on time.
Oh, you like that?
I like it.
Oh, but...
And I go, what is this, like going out with a stripper or some chick that's going to fucking torment you for the rest of your life? Do you like that? Did you have a bad childhood? I mean, what is this?
You watch Seinfeld? You ever watch Seinfeld?
Yeah, yeah.
Remember, it's like there was always something. She's too tall. She's bald, Jerry. Like, she's got big hands.
Yeah.
Like, there's always something.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I think there could be a little bit of a...
All right, well, hell, I'm writing this stuff down. So be late. Cocaine.
Well, I think, you know, it becomes a bit of a control mechanism for the way these people act. They become this crazy fucker because they want to kind of control things. And it almost becomes like, oh, we do need him. So my comment to Slash and Duff was like, this guy's like really together. I think we could probably like all get along and have fun, you know?
and maybe have like a long lasting thing.
Come on, you've been with chicks where they're like, oh, baby, I love you, man. I'm making you something to eat. And like, let's have sex. And you're like, this fucking bores the fuck out of me, you know? I'm like, you know, I want to take that woman,
right,
you know?
Right.
I want to tell her when we're having, you know?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, you know, no, baby, I don't want to eat right now. Go clean the dish.
Yeah, but you know what though? But honestly, I think it's just it depends on what your definition of fun or crazy is.
Yeah.
Because look, for me, I know this, but maybe this is very romper room or Mr. Rogers for you guys. But I go to Wendy's and I video. We have a whole bunch of people. We go to a diner. We pig out. I'll have 85 chicken nuggets. That's my cocaine.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Or we'll go.
And then what do? You go stick your fingers in your mouth?
No,
then?
I'm fine. And then I go play the show, and I sound great.
Yeah.
But we'll skinny dipping. We used to orgies and things. I mean, I like to. Party.
How many men in that orgy?
Just me. But you know what I'm saying? Like when I was back in the day, and I don't want to say like back in the day when I was young, but I had my fair share of craziness. It was just a different craziness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like I always said, like, look, you had the Andrew Dice Clay who had to fuck this, fuck, and then you had a Jerry Seinfeld never cursed in his life, just as funny.
Right.
Just
I
as
think
talented.
I think you could look at any sort of like, if you want to look at this sort of through like a psychologist's eyes or whatever, you could see the dysfunction thread through both of the groups that we had, which were Velvet Revolver and which we still have Velvet Revolver and Guns N' Roses. But a lot of that dysfunction, when, for instance, if you seem like a pretty normal guy, but I've had to do some work on myself. But through my life, I've had relationships, and then in the middle of a relationship, sometimes you go, wow, hey, I'm gonna pick this different chick because it's gonna be different and everything, and then you find things out about yourself, like you're going like, oh, maybe I need to like change some stuff about me to, it's not about the other person or whatever. I think that holds true in band situations because in any relationship you have, like a band, you're going to bring some of your old shit into that. And you're going to throw up walls and different things where you're going to be saying, oh, we can't do this and we can't do this. When it breaks down the communication is what I'm saying. So shit happens. And I'm not saying that it was completely Scott's fault. And what happened with Velvet Revolver, it would have been a little better. What happens a lot of the times in big business is when the money comes, shit gets fucked up.
I was just saying that before. I was telling Frank about how Z-Rock, like season 2 from season 1, because season 1 was successful,
right?
And I don't think they expected that,
right?
All of a sudden, let's clean it up. We can go this. Let's do that. Let's get sponsors. And they, it kind of took away what originally everyone liked about it.
Yeah. So I think you need to really set the tone early on going into any situation. Like for instance, I'm on the phone today talking to somebody about putting this club deal together, and I don't want to completely say who's in it yet, but a big deal in Vegas. And everyone wants this and that and the other thing. I said, look, let's just get it all on the table about who's in it first from the get-go before the money comes. Because when the money comes, everyone's going to go, well, I didn't say that. And then it's just going to be this big drama. And money just changes people, man. It just does. And then the problem with Hollywood is, as I can tell when I'm watching the Grammys, and 3 years ago I got invited to the Clive Davis party. The year after, I was further back on the table, and then the third year, I just wasn't invited. So
wait. So next year, you're going to be doing. You're waiting.
I could be waiting. I mean, I could be waiting. We know how it works, and I don't know where I'm going with this, except for the fact that I'm saying, I think for anybody in any business, you got to be able to go into it with the right intentions and say, hey, let's do this together, but let's put this on paper, and let's make sure that we're all very clear because.
But there's always, and I'm learning this now.
Yeah.
There's always gray areas. Even when you think when you think you hammered everything out,
right?
And then there's something. Look, a perfect example is when we started our group ZO2. We were a rock band. That's what we did, you know. And then we did the kids' music just to make a living, but we didn't really tell people about that. And then all of a sudden, this TV show happens.
Right.
And you can't foresee that.
Right.
So how do you plan for that? Well, we didn't write that down. We didn't say, well, what happens if we got a TV show? Well, now, is that band money? Is that regular money? Is that who gets this, who gets that?
Right.
You can't foresee it. And that's the issue. Life throws you these different things that you can't prepare for.
Well, I think now the thing about music is there's so many different brand opportunities and everything. Okay, record contracts back in the day never had information about
digital,
the internet and digital, so all these all these bands that are out there had to go back, the guys like used to be in the Doobie Brothers. He says, hey, what's this digital thing, and all of a sudden he's like on iTunes and his label sold it and he's got no rights and 45% of it's on download. So anyway, my point is, You have to almost do a deal where it's like, this is the brand name. Whatever we build together with this brand name
Right.
is how it's going to be
No matter
split.
what the new
We're
technology
partners.
is. If we're on the moon and we're doing like lunar projection.
Yeah, we're partners. I mean, this could turn into, for instance, this club thing that I'm talking about.
Right.
You know,
With the secret
Sammy
partner.
Hagar. Let me just bring up a guy that's been very smart with his club idea, Cabo Wabo. I could give you a little bit of the backstory. I've known Sammy since the late '80s, and I hung out with him. I used to go marlin fishing there, and catch big tuna, and we make it into tacos. Which we can talk more about food in a minute.
Yes.
But so I hung out with Sammy when the Van Halen brothers, when Van Halen was Sammy Hagar and Eddie and Michael, and I could completely talk out of turn here because I know the whole history of this.
Sure.
They went down there and they created this club, Cabo Wabo. Well, the Van Halen brothers were in on it as partners. Van Halen is opening Cabo Wabo, okay? The brand Van Halen.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Okay, so what happened was Sammy and Michael went down there, and Eddie and Alex stayed home, and they said, yeah, build a 10,000 square foot club, and we'll be back in 6 months. Well, they get there, and the Mexican people thought they said 10,000 meters, which is quite a bit larger. So they got there, and there was this huge club, and they're like, whoa, they were just wanted to build a little rock bar.
Right.
10,000 square feet is still pretty big, but 10,000 meters is
oh,
huge.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that, 5 times as, yeah, 40,000 square feet. So 4 times the size, it's like 3 stories
It's
and
like a zoo area, right?
yeah.
Because it's going to be a little bit larger than that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So anyway, they go, oh shit, right? And hey, we did this for cheap, It's like you pay us some tacos and cervezas and a little extra money, we make 40,000 feet, And so anyway, Eddie and Alex bringing their wives down there, and in those days, in the late '80s, it was fairly third world. It wasn't like it is now. Cabo's very Americanized and they have restaurants and hotels and Kentucky Fried Chicken, McDonald's,
Starbucks.
Yeah,
as soon as you get a Starbucks,
Starbucks is there. So they go, hey man, we don't want a part of this. So Sammy bought them out. Years and years go by. The club's completely struggling. They're having a really hard time filling it because it's so big.
Well, was it a rock club?
Yeah, rock club.
Mostly. Okay.
And then Sammy would go down there and do his birthday party, and I'd go play, and we would have Sammy's birthday party. It would be Cabo Wabo. Sammy's birthday event, we'd have like Steven Stills, and I brought Lars Ulrich with me once, and Jerry from Alice in Chains, and we'd all go play, and then it would be full.
Right.
So we kept building the brand. Sammy took it out on the road. Cabo Wabo with Sammy Hagar on the road, right? Years later, the place is packed all the time, doing great. He launches his tequila, okay, Cabo Wabo tequila.
Right.
Starts pushing the brand, going on the Food Network, cooking with Emerald. I don't know if you ever saw. Emerald's one of his best friends, speaking about food. So he's hanging with Emerald, showing his tequila. Hey, we're going to make some tacos with Cabo Wabo tequila, whatever they were doing. It was all about Cabo Wabo tequila. Long story short, he just sold the Cabo Wabo brand for $100 million.
Oh, my God.
Okay? Eddie and Alex, you know what they get of that? Zero.
Did they try?
No, I think he bought him out early on.
Right, so there's no.
And, my point is, Sammy had the vision. He kept the name. If the brothers would have been in, they probably would have had ownership of that or whatever. But the same goes for, like, any idea that you have. Your thing could turn into a booze. It could be, Paulie's vodka.
Paulie's non-alcoholic vodka.
Yeah. Pauli, you never know these days.
Get drunk without actually getting drunk.
You never know these days with all the branding.
You
and
know
all
what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to come up with a line of placebo alcohol. Like, you say it's vodka, but it's actually not. So when you get it pulled over, they can't arrest you. It's like, wait a second, but I'm drunk. No, you're not, sir. Go home. But I'm drunk. You think you're drunk, but you're not. Did you have Paulie's vodka tonight?
Hey, man, I like it. Hey, you know what?
Wait, let's write this down. Hold on. This is mine.
Okay.
You be the spokesperson, but I get all
wait,
the money.
don't I get half of it for
No,
coming up with
no,
the
you
idea?
don't No.
No, hey,
Let's write this down.
look at that 50 cent. You know how much he made on that
I
water?
know.
That vitamin water deal?
Yeah.
Put 50 cent on the water. So, his brand is bigger than anything. And I think, you guys built a brand together.
Well, I think what it is that, and I've been saying this now, it's a weird spot for us now. It's like everyone's saying this is the beginning of Act 2 of our career. And, we started as a band. We started as a band, and we did this kid stuff just to make a living. That's how we paid for stuff. It's just a job. And it's amazing how I agree with you. I feel like now we have the opportunity to take it from band to brand.
Right.
Because you're right. When I'm like 60, 70 years old, which is probably not for another 50 years. But anyway. But, you know, like, I want to be able to say, like, well, here's the Paulie Z conditioner line that's super popular for everyone who has curly hair. Or
Right.
here's our restaurant, or here's our non-alcoholic alcohol line, or whatever it is, because that's the stuff that you can say. I want to be able to enjoy bringing that money, have something that, you know, people remember, and be able to be, you know, home with my family enjoying whatever, not freaking lugging gear when I'm 50, 60 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just to be able to keep paying the rent. It's like,
Right.
I think people don't see those opportunities. That
It's a fascinating world right now.
Yeah,
It really
it's
is. I
insane.
mean, there's so many opportunities, and it's, you know, it's so diverse because the world is our oyster with the internet, and it's just unbelievable what you can do. And I think people are scared about the music business, but I think we're gonna see something happening. It's the beginning of a new decade. Number one, okay. You know, they got the Paulie Z on the podcast. You know, look at, here we are talking into a computer, for Christ's sake. I mean, how unbelievable is that?
We're in a, what is this? We're in the lounge of some
multi-million-dollar podcast.
Yes, but we're in the lounge. We're in the, like, there's a microwave and we're in a
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar building, but we're sitting at a
Yeah.
little table.
It's amazing.
With a couple microphones. But you know what? Thousands of people are going to hear this across the world.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
It is. You know, when I was doing Camp Freddy Radio at 103.1, you know, we'd go out over the internet, and a lot of our calls came in from Australia and Europe, and it was just fascinating, you know, that people could be that connected. And I think the world is just going to, you know, if we use this in the right way, because there's a lot of negativity on the internet, you know.
But that's with everything. There's going to be negativity with anything.
Yeah, I think if we start using these things in a positive direction and start trying to, you know, bring some positive light into where that is, to, you know, because we always have to sort of beat out that negativity with positive action. And that negativity will subside, and no one will really care about it. No one does anyway. Some people take more offense to it than others, but I think, you know, people will have to take action and start to do more positive things, because they're just going to, the negativity is just going to get beat out. And, you know, you're doing a show here, we're talking about, you know, sort of whatever, but I'm starting to get a little serious. And then in a minute, we're going to talk about food again.
Yeah. And then we're going to get silly.
Yeah, and then we're going to, you know, but that's the beauty of it.
And then we're going to do each other's hair.
You know, and, you know, there's no one telling us what we're supposed to do. And that's the American way, man. You know, it's not like, okay, now you're going to go on network TV and it's going to be like this and it has to be pop music and, you know, you can't have a guitar and you can't say this and you got to dress like this. I mean, what the fuck is that? That's fucked up.
Well, that's corporate. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
you know,
It's the old-
I don't think this is network. This is definitely cable. You know, what the fuck? It's like you're telling me what you're feeding to the American public. You're some fucking jackass sitting in an office going, "This is what the people want." Fuck you.
You don't know any of the people.
You don't fucking know what they want.
You
That-
eat at Morton's Steakhouse.
yeah, why the fuck do you think everything sucks in the fucking music
Yeah.
business? The fucking, you know, you give some guy $100 million to make a fucking movie about blue people. What the fuck? You know, what the fuck? 100 million, 600 million. Okay, yeah.
Or the records. Just think about how much people spend on records.
Yeah.
And now, like, when you hear what, you know, it's like you can do it for a fraction of the cost, and it's the content. I think what's great is, and I'm learning, and I'm in the middle of this. I mean, you're lucky enough that you were in it at a time when it was still thriving.
Yeah.
You could still get the, you know, the jets and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, private jet. I mean, we have a 15-passenger van. I'm lucky if I have, you know,
is it
gas in
it Ford?
No, Chevy. Chevy.
Should have gone with Ford.
I had a Ford. It broke down on me.
Oh, you
But-
did?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But
Chevy's
my
different.
point is, I digress. My point is that I'm in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm in it, and I'm learning right now. I mean, at that point in my life, this is the turning point. I'm seeing it from a whole nother aspect, because I grew up wanting it to do it the way you guys did it,
Right.
or the way Zeppelin did it, or the way the Aerosmiths, because that's what I thought
Right.
you had to do.
Yeah, the mystique.
Yeah, there was an A, B, and C. You know, you look good, you work out, you sing, you have some, you this, you had whatever. There is not. That's.
Right.
I mean, look at Jersey Shore. We were talking about that with me
Yeah.
and Frank. Like, that's like the biggest show right now. But it's just people want to see the real thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a whole nother.
I really think that God, you know, you think, when is that shit gonna implode? You know, all that negative train wreck shit on TV. It's gonna get to a point where it's almost like people are gonna have to go to fucking rehab for that.
Right, just for
It's
watching.
like,
What
it's
are
like,
you in
there's
for?
gonna
I've
be
been watching too much reality
there's
TV.
gonna be a new fucking 12-step group where you're gonna sit around and talk about, it's like,
RTA? What's that? Reality TV Anonymous?
Yeah.
My name is Joe, and I watch Jersey Shore.
I'm addicted to Us Weekly and fucking Jersey Shore.
Oh,
I fucking cleaned out the bank account and fucking Us Weeklies.
I deleted all my TiVo. I deleted the Jerry Springer show on my TiVo.
Yeah.
Oh, give George a round of applause.
Yeah. Fuck. It's like,
Well, maybe that's what 2012 will be. Maybe 2012 will be the end of all the crap.
Yeah.
And it'll be a new era of because one thing it's
and
scary.
Rush will do the concert. Right?
Yes, those guys will still be around.
Neil
They'll be
Peart will go.
Rush is they're like the cockroaches.
Yeah.
They'll be here longer than any of us.
Yeah.
But you're a Rush fan, right?
Yeah.
Get
Are
a
you
five
kidding?
on
Are you
that.
kidding me?
We do Tom Sawyer in our set.
I'll tell you about Neil Peart.
Wait, you tell me in a minute.
Food and drink.
Wait, because I want to finish I want to be serious and enlightful too. I want to be like Buddha-like right now
Yeah,
because
okay.
you had a chance to be real smart. So
Yeah.
it's not a chance. It's taken me a lot. It's taken a lot for me to really understand what's going on around me. It's very hard when
Right.
things are changing and you're in the middle of it.
Right.
And at first I was scared. I said, "Holy cow, we're a rock band in an industry that's basically dying, like falling apart."
Right.
And then I look at it the other way and I say, "You know what? It's not. It's just reinventing itself. The content will now because what happened was, I'm sure you saw it. You were in the middle of it. It got to the point where it was just about big this, big that. Everything was gigantic. You had to sell." If you didn't go multi-platinum, it wasn't a success.
That's right.
Because they spent so much money. So now it's about the song. It's going to go back to where I think the content is going to rule.
Right.
Because anyone could put up a song, anyone could put up a movie, anyone could be just Steven Spielberg on the internet. And now it's not about how much you spend on it. It's going to be like, is that really good or is that not really good?
Right.
Is that
Well,
right
I
or
totally agree with
just
that.
say I'm right.
I think you're right.
Okay.
And the thing I think
That's a long-winded.
I think a lot of people fail to realize that the world is a massive place. Okay, we're watching the Grammys, okay, where that's 9 awards on television. Okay, the Lifetime Achievement Awards that went out, in my opinion, were more important than the awards that were on the TV. Leonard Cohen, okay, they recognized an artist who's, written some of the most amazing, beautiful songs ever written in the history of music. Okay, Bobby Darin, they gave him about 2 seconds. Bobby Darin, who was one of the greatest crooners of the 50s and 60s, up next to Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin and all the rest of them. And they gave him about 1.25 seconds, okay? And then you look at Taylor Swift and you go, I'm not going to be negative, okay, but it was a bit like watching not a high school talent show, but a junior high school talent show. And I'm kind of like, okay, but I know there's enough other people like that, like us in the world, that don't believe that is the center and hub for what the music industry is.
Right. Maybe in our country, it could be because our country seems to be very fad-oriented. It's like this is the new thing.
Right.
That's it.
But I think there's a lot of other people out there, like guys like Jack White, who's doing White Stripes and building his whole thing in Nashville, and there's a lot of other music going on. Bonnaroo Festival, Coachella, where they're buying into the celebrity a little bit, which worries me. Why is Jay-Z at Coachella?
Why? Because that brings in the money.
They need the money, and now it's become corporate. So,
Right.
Whoops, you're losing the plot. Okay, now people are getting greedy. What does greed do? Kills the plot, kills the concept. It's organically grown into this beautiful thing. Did they have to have Madonna? No. Did they have to have Jay-Z? No.
But
Paul McCartney?
They made money.
Paul
sold
McCartney.
tickets.
They made money and they sold tickets.
That
But
was-
these guys are going, I kind of like the way this feels. I got my new, car, and I got rid of my Prius. Everyone told me I should drive that, but I just went out and got the new Benz, and it's like I got a Bentley, dude. Check out my Bentley. It's like somebody in there. Well, the problem was, that internal group got bought up by the big players.
Right. That's what happened. Well, even clubs. I noticed in New York.
Yeah.
I remember going to CBGB's and the Continental. I saw Bruce Dickinson at Coney Island High. That was like, talk about a rock and roll, like just dirty place.
Right.
And then Soho now, it's all like latte this and chickpea and organic this, and all those clubs are gone because these big companies came in You know, CBs.
Yeah.
They,
Oh, yeah.
Thank God John Varvatos bought it
Yeah,
out and
yeah.
kept it a little bit.
Yeah.
But still, like, just if you walk in that area, you could never imagine
It's all
that
hip
the
and-
Ramones and all those bands came out.
Yeah,
And
it's all cleaned up.
all cleaned up.
John Varvatos was a good friend of mine. He said he saw a rat down there the size of a Labrador in the basement of the CBGBs. He says, I saw this rat. He was barking at me. I said, oh, my God. But, you know, I'll defend John Varvatos on one thing, okay? If CBGB's wasn't bought by John Varvatos, I know people were like, it's a clothing store. It would have been...
No, but he has bands. I saw Glenn Hughes, who's going to be on my...
Right, and he's a good friend. And well, I want to
You know
just...
Glenn?
Oh, very well.
Oh, well,
I played on 2 of his albums.
You did?
Yeah.
Which ones? Because Chad, I thought Chad was...
No, I played on his earlier stuff.
Oh, so before Soul Mover.
Yeah. I can't remember which record.
I have all...
You'd have to ask Glenn.
I have all his records.
He did a couple demos, and then it came out on an album at my house. And I can't remember what album it is.
Well, you'll ask Glenn because Glenn's coming in
He's coming in now?
after you.
Oh, cool. Sweet. I'll ask
There
Glenn.
you go. We
So
We should all go to Morton's.
So John Varvatos and
Glenn's treat. right
and
there.
Glenn will acknowledge this. John is a music lover.
Yes.
He is the real deal. If you were to sit down and talk to him about music, he could like go neck and neck with you on Iggy Pop, anything that has to do with Detroit, especially because he's from Detroit. But any kind of music through the 70s, 60s, he knows the Brit Invasion. Like
He's the real deal.
he's the real deal. And I think he really kept the CBGBs fairly true to the original. It's a lot cleaner.
Right. No, but he kept the stage.
He kept the stage.
He kept like certain things the way they were. Because I went to see, I told you, I saw Glenn there.
Yeah.
And I said, this is a store? I've never been in
Yeah.
it. And they're like, yeah, they just push everything out or whatever. And
I
it
think he
had the
cleaned up a
vibe.
lot of the smell.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple dead punks in the back,
They probably was like-
but no, beautiful thing he did with that. And I, you know, like I said, if it wouldn't have gone to him, it would have gone probably.
It would have been like a lounge.
It
like a
could have been
top-
it could have been a Starbucks.
Or tapas.
Yeah,
Everything's
you know,
tapas over there now.
So I'm glad he's sort of, you know, he's got his vinyl records thing there,
Yeah.
which he's one of the guys that's like still believes in vinyl, and he's really brought it back in a way in New York. He says he can't keep the bins full. The bins full.
Vinyl is selling really well.
Yeah, it
believe or
is.
not. We're
It
trying
is.
to do that with our record, but it just, you know, money-wise, we'd have, because you have to get them in bulk. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I don't know if we have enough people that would warrant us getting it, but I think we're going to do it soon. But everybody I talk to that has like either had a record shop or anything like
Yeah.
that, they're all doing vinyl now.
So cool.
yeah.
Just the sound of that. The
Well, it
record.
becomes a collector. See, that's what it is. It becomes it's people like. Do you still buy stuff, or you download?
No, I don't. You know, I mean, I buy some records. My girl buys more records than I do. I can't say that I go to the record store and.
See, I go and I buy like a dozen at a time.
You
Like
do?
oh yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, not necessarily when it comes out, but I go. Like I'll go and I'll get the new this one, the new that, because I like the feel of it. I like the
Right.
touch, the smell. I'm a collector. I then put it in the CD
Yeah.
tray, upload it to iTunes, and then I never play the CD
I'm
again.
I'm definitely
You know what I mean?
fantasizing about starting a vinyl collection, but I'm going to need to designate a whole room for that.
Right.
Because
Well,
I'm
you
gonna,
don't have a man cave?
I have a man cave, but it's full.
Oh. Mine too. Dude,
like-
mine's like the Kiss pinball machine.
Yeah.
Everything Kiss, guitar everywhere. It's like
I need a
whole
bigger
house.
man cave.
Yeah.
You know, I have my studio out back, and I actually have a room that I'm thinking, and if I do that, I'm going to go crazy vinyl guy.
Really?
Yeah.
My dad had. Oh,
'Cause I just
want to
love-
kill my dad. He
when
had
I-
all the vinyl. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the Beatles, the Zeppelin, Maine,
Yeah.
and this. He had everything.
You know, I'll tell you, I had a huge vinyl
Sold it.
collection when I was a kid, and I came to Hollywood. I moved to Hollywood.
Sold it, right?
I moved to Hollywood in '79, and I was broke. And I took my big, you know, I used to keep them in the
crates,
milk
right?
crates,
The
yeah.
crates, yeah.
And I had about 8 of them full. I had like I was really into progressive rock, so I had a lot of early Genesis,
Right.
Landmines Down on Broadway, you know, all that English import shit.
Good quality though. Did you keep
Great,
your stuff
great
mint?
quality. Yeah, I always had them in the wrapper. And the only,
that's
the
the
only thing,
collector mentality.
the only thing you might find in my albums on a double album would be like maybe some leftover remnants of seeds from rolling my joints.
Like, what's
You know.
this? Oh no, that was the that came with the album. Like
Yeah.
you know, Kiss. They always put stuff in their albums.
If-
They
if-
put weed.
Yeah,
in
if
their
I was
love
to say
gun.
to kids, the one thing I miss most about records is rolling my joints in them. You know, because you could take the double album and I would clean the seeds that way.
I don't wait. You're talking to someone who has. I don't even know what you're
Okay,
talking
so
about.
I would put the
A seed of what's
Okay,
this?
now so imagine you have the double album, right?
Yes. Okay, so only double albums.
Well,
So
only
like
double.
Kiss-
So you open it like
All right,
this,
so
right?
like Kiss Alive. You open
Kiss
it up.
Alive, open it in the middle.
Yes.
I've rolled quite a few joints on Kiss
All right,
Alive.
how do you do
Right
that?
before the '76 show at the Long Beach Arena.
All right. Well, you're gonna tell me because I'm
Okay.
gonna start doing this
So
now,
you
so
put-
I can be a successful
And
frontman.
when I was smoking weed, and I was, I'm talking about the '70s.
Okay.
I'd get what we call a 4-finger lid.
What's that?
4-finger lid would be like 4 fingers like this in a baggie of weed. You know, now people do like an eighth, quarter.
Oh, that's how much of it.
That's
like,
how much
like
it
the
was. It was
measurement?
back in the 70s. It's called 4 fingers.
Okay.
So meaning if you measured the bag of weed with your 4 fingers, it would look about like that.
And
full.
how much? How
That
many?
would be about an ounce a pot.
What is? But what is that? How many stone sessions?
That's a lot of joints.
What do you call it? Stone sessions? What do
That's
you-
that's a lot of joints. I can't remember how many big ones or
Really?
small ones or like pinners. We'd
like,
roll
is that
pinners.
a week's worth?
Then
Is
we
that
roll
a-
fatties. You know,
what
we
I
like.
mean? Like I know if I get it like an ounce of ham, like that's not. You know what I mean? Like related to me is like
But just
like a half a
imagine,
pound of
okay,
turkey or-
so we're
that
getting
work?
into marijuana. I talk
Okay.
about the Mexican Sensi,
Okay.
which was a cheaper grade of pot that you could get. Like say you're in high school and you could only afford like, 40, 50 bucks or 30 bucks or whatever. In those days, it wasn't even that much. I mean, you could get a good ounce for 20 bucks.
So an ounces would be like, would that be like a typical purchase? Again, an ounce? Like,
Well,
for the
if you
average?
if you got the lower grade, and then came, Northern California Sensiman, which was more expensive, not as many seeds, more potent, more HTC,
Purer, like
pure, yeah.
I've heard that term. Pure.
Portland area, coming from Oregon, Northern California. These guys were growing the primo weed. Okay, so we would smoke the Mexican Sensi,
That's
which
the cheaper one.
you could buy like a whole pound of the shit for like $500.
Okay.
Like that's a lot.
$500.
And I'll go into
know
my
what-
I'll
you
go
know-
into my drug smuggling
Hold
days
on,
later. But
$500? Do you know how many hamburgers I could buy with $500?
yeah, but you know how many you could eat if you were stoned?
No, I don't. Let's try it.
Okay. So anyway, I would take my double album and I would pour all my weed in there. Okay.
Yeah.
So you imagine little sticks and branches and buds
It's like
and
grass, kind of.
and a
It's
lot of
like dirt.
seeds and stuff. And then you take a card and you would roll the weed up like this and
Like
siphon.
this. Now everybody sees what he's doing. All right, he's
And-
holding it at like an angle.
Yeah, and you'd siphon the seeds out. So you take a card. And
Why don't you want the seeds?
you don't want to smoke the seeds because they pop and they
Why don't they just have it seedless,
Well,
like grapes? I don't understand. If you go to the supermarket,
what I'm saying,
you
what,
can get seedless.
what I'm
gel,
saying to you is
okay.
we were smoking the cheaper stuff.
Ah, so if you get the expensive stuff, it was seedless.
Yeah, most of the time.
Ah,
Most
see,
of the
look
time.
at this.
Yeah,
I'm learning.
Yeah. Okay.
Come on,
Okay.
you're
Okay.
teaching me. all right. So you gotta
So-
get the seeds out.
So we get the seeds out, and
Siphon.
then, but I would do that in my double albums, and then you would get all the seeds out, and that would roll down to the middle of the double album. Okay.
Okay.
Then you could take the seeds and just kind
You
of
just
pour
go
them
like
out.
that. Yeah.
And then you got your weed pretty seedless, and you start rolling your joints.
Now, how do you when you roll? I always hear this thing. You roll. You get like paper, right? Rolling
Yeah,
paper,
yeah.
whatever.
Zigzags.
Put it in, and you roll, and then how do you get it to stick? Like
Well, there's a little sticky thing on the
Oh, there
paper.
is? Okay.
Yeah, on one edge, and you lick it, and
like an envelope. You just
yeah, and you're done. And then they had little rollers you could buy at the head shop too. I could use those occasionally if you were too stoned to roll one regular. I actually had a buddy of mine that lived down the street that rolled the perfect joints.
what makes one better than the other?
Like this guy was just the best joint roller on the planet. It was just perfectly packed, and it was just
Clean,
burned like a Cuban cigar. It was
Why don't they come pre-rolled? I'm just saying. I don't understand why people don't see.
I'm
like,
sure there's a guy that probably sells
this
it
is-
like that.
no,
I don't
but
know.
this is like another company. Me and you could start a company.
Hey, you know what?
Pre-roll
Now,
joints.
let's talk
Wait,
about
Amsterdam.
what's going on with the marijuana cancer. Cancer patients are allowed in California to go. Which I had an aunt back in the 70s that used to smoke weed to help her with her pain of cancer. There's a lot of scientific theories that marijuana helps subside that sort of pain. So a lot of people that were cancer victims and stuff and had illnesses would smoke pot. Well, now we have legalized medicinal marijuana outlets in California, which have been slightly abused by
That's a
people
start.
but the original theory was for people that are sick and need marijuana to help relieve certain pains that can't get attention from modern day medicine. Marijuana just seems to kind of, I feel good. I feel, I don't have to feel in pain today. So you can go to medicinal marijuana shops all around LA here.
Just so you know, people out there, when he says medicinal, he puts his quotes in the fingers.
Yeah, and then you can get I think they probably have joints already rolled for you, and you can get little candy bars with marijuana in there, and
What? Oh, wait. I can get candy with marijuana?
yeah, drinks.
If I was going to be a pothead, that would be me.
Ca-
I'd be
yeah.
that guy doing the brownies. I'm like, what? Why
You know
does he
what?
eat so many brownies?
You know what? I'll tell you, those brownies will get you fucked Oh,
I
you have no
I
idea.
never had it.
Yeah.
My first, just
Maybe that's your way to get into this.
into
Like we'll
it.
just
Do I want to get
sort
into
you
this?
with some food.
All right, this is the how to be a. That's it. Matt's gonna teach me how to. Be
I had
one of
hair
those
like
guys.
you in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Like, but longer and curly like yours. I used to just hide my joints right in there.
I
Swear to
hide
God, dude.
I hide my Bluetooth.
I went
when
to
I
see-
talk to people on the street.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks I'm
Well,
crazy.
thank God. so I would go. Imagine Alice Cooper, 1976. Welcome to my nightmare tour. I had like 10 joints in my afro.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, because they pat you down.
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah.
I just
They
had
don't
'em-
touch your
I had
hair.
them all in my hair, man. I was just like, dude,
That
here
is
you go.
great.
Hey. Yeah.
Next time I have you on the show, I'm gonna be a different person. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be like, yeah, Matt. Yeah. So I'm gonna be 2 hours late.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be just all like a dick.
Yeah, marijuana back in the 70s, you go to a concert, okay? I was at a concert. It was Robin Trower and
Bridget Side.
yeah, Robin Trower, Bridget Size, and people would just pass joints. You know, that was like
It's a whole different.
that was a
world.
friendly time before there was like, the AIDS and, different sort of, diseases you
Yeah.
could pick up.
The AIDS and
Not that you could pick up-
reality TV.
Not that
and-
you could pick up AIDS through saliva. I think that's a misconception, but people were passing joints like nothing, And one particular night, I took a joint and I just took a hit off it from some stranger. Next thing I know, I'm on the ground at the Robin Trower concert. I'd just taken a hit off a PCP joint.
That's bad.
PCP, yeah. PCP is like
Why are you laughing, Alex?
PCP is like an elephant tranquilizer,
Oh, really?
basically laced onto a marijuana cigarette.
Oh, so that's not.
And so I missed the whole
that's not good.
fucking concert.
That's not good.
I was like, Bridges, yeah.
My first, like I said, I only did it maybe 5 times in my life, but the first time I ever did it was at Woodstock '99, and I thought if I was ever going to try it, this would be the place to do it for the experience, the story. And I did like what do you call it, a shotty? Like my friend blew it into
yeah.
my mouth,
Yeah.
and I was like, and then I just noticed like my eyes start, right around my eyes, they start like tightening up. And I get this permanent smile, and it twitches right on the side of my eyes, so I can't stop smiling. And I just like, I'm like, am I high? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, because I can't stop smiling. They're like, you're high, dude. I'm like, woo.
You're high.
Yeah, that was pretty weird. And I get a British accent when I'm high.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I turn Brit.
Cool.
Because secretly, I always wanted to speak like a Brit.
Right.
Because I feel like they sound smarter, even if they're not smart. If you talk with a British accent, you sound scholarly.
Right.
And I could, I was
Scholarly.
scholarly, and I was straight A student, but I
Right.
talk like, I'm from Brooklyn, so anything I say, I sound like an idiot.
Right. Okay, but wait. Have you noticed that when people drink, okay, like especially Southern girls, like when they get drunk, they go straight into their whole like, I'm
it
from
comes out.
Yeah, I'm from Texas, like all those
Everything comes
yeah,
out,
East
yeah.
Coast people, they get like more
hey, forget
just like
about
where
it.
does that come from? It's like
I think what it is, and when I know being sober most of the time,
Yeah.
almost all the time, and seeing people seeing people drink,
Yeah.
I see why they do it. What I notice is most people have everyone's got insecurity, everybody.
Yeah.
But some people have more than others, and they need a little something to loosen up. So
Yeah.
everyone's got their guard. They put,
Yeah.
look, you look cool. You got your leather jacket. You want people to look at you and say, I'm a rock and roller. I'm this and this and that. But underneath that, you could be writing poetry. You could be doing this. No one knows. We
Right.
can only know what we see.
Right.
So you give people what you want them to see,
Mm-hmm.
and that alcohol breaks down that curtain a little bit,
Right.
and then it's just you.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they do it, because it's like most people really can't. I'm just like that naturally.
So-
I'm just like, here I am.
So when that
I'm-
guy punched that chick in the face on New Jersey
That's
Shores,
him.
he's
That's
just-
really him.
That guy's just an asshole.
That's just an
Yeah,
asshole
that's
who
just
acts like he's not an asshole. Because let me tell you something. If you're going to punch a girl,
Yeah.
you're going to punch a girl.
Yeah.
You can't blame it on the alcohol.
Right.
It's
That's
just
right.
you wanted to do that. You just never did because you
That's-
didn't want to get in trouble.
That's an underlying like
That's bullshit.
when people like get in prison for whatever, doing crimeful acts. That 95% of the people that are in prison is drug and alcohol related crimes, most of them.
I believe that.
So if you were to go down to county jail right now and you talk to any of those guys down there that are locked up for whatever amount of time, they would probably say it was a drug and alcohol related crime. Okay. So, but behind all that is a person that's drinking because of the reason they're drinking.
Right,
A lot
of
right.
course.
It's like, unfortunately, a lot of people that are in that situation have either been brought up in a really bad, upbringing or
the people they hang out with. I always find like it's the company you keep
right.
really defines it. You know what I mean?
I think so. I think you're looking for something. Maybe you don't have any real goal in life, and you end up in the wrong group of characters, and
Right.
you easily can go down that road because of peer pressure. Even that kind of peer pressure you felt like maybe when you were in school.
Or like right now to do drugs. Like, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, well, I
That
think
kind of
so.
peer
I
pressure?
think
'Cause
so.
let me tell you something. I'm not doing it.
I think a lot of young people get into drugs
I don't want-
purely for. I mean, it sounds silly, but
no, it's cool. It's like,
like-
look, why do you think I even tried it? It's
Yeah.
just like, it's like, well,
yeah,
am I like just not the? I'm not the only. I'm like the only kid in my town, school or town
Right.
or whatever that doesn't do it. And what's wrong with me?
right.
And then I got past that very quickly. I'm very
Right.
lucky, and I think you're right. It has to do with it's because of my parents, my upbringing. I'm like, dude, this is me. You don't like it? Fuck off.
Right.
Because guess what? For every one of you people that think I'm not cool because I don't do this, or this,
Right.
there's 10 other people that said that's awesome. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You like toys or comic books or this or that or whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's everybody out there. So it's like
Right.
this whole notion of cool. I'm redefining it, baby.
That's cool. And you
Yeah,
know what?
that is cool.
That
No
is
pun intended.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, look, when I was coming up, it was like as a musician, two of my greatest heroes are dead now from alcohol abuse. John Bonham and Keith Moon. So as a kid, whatever you're getting into, you kind of want to emulate. Why is that guy so great? Well, everything he does, I should do.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Except for die.
Yeah.
Which I tried a couple of
Right.
times because I really lived that cliche rock and roll lifestyle of, taking it to the edge. And, I was in a band that was very well known for doing a lot of drugs and drinking a lot of alcohol. And we almost became sort of like hidden underneath all that. Like you said, you could look at me and I got my leather jacket. People know me from rock bands. Do they know really who Matt Sorum is? I only learned that in rehab later. And I've been sober quite a few years now, but they would say, Matt, you have to not live behind this image that you've created for yourself, because I think all people do.
Yeah.
If you see a businessman, he's wearing a suit and it's like Armani. Oh, that guy must be a fucking stiff asshole. He's got his tie.
Yep.
You just get this perception. So, and there's a lot more depth to me than people know, and things that I do in my life. And like you said, I write poetry, I write songs, I cook.
Right.
I clean the house.
Right. I do
you know,
dishes. I
yeah,
like doing dishes.
Yeah. I go out in the backyard and play with my koi
I
pond.
have rabbits. I have two. I have two bunny rabbits. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
not afraid to say it. I
Yeah.
have two bunny rabbits.
Yeah, I mean, I was
Does
on
that
the,
make you any less
hey,
cool?
Hey, I was on that
Fuck
metal
that.
show a few weeks
With
ago,
Eddie?
and they asked
Yeah.
me my favorite movie. I said, hey, I'm not going to be very metal about this right now, but Forrest Gump, okay? So fuck you. I said I cry every time I see it. I think that the moral of the story is, look at this guy that was born into this great handicap, and he made something out of himself, and he always looked at the positivity of what he was doing, and he was going to be the best at it he possibly could. What the fuck's the matter with that? I said, you want me to fucking say Full Metal Jacket right now, where everyone got fucking, shot, and the dude shot his fucking sergeant, and that's what you want me to say?
The point of this, kids, because we really do have to, because Glenn is going to be here any minute. But honestly, I think the point of this, and I'm glad you brought it up, because you really did live the sort of cliche rock star life that I was conditioned to believe that you have to look like that or be like that for people to buy in.
Right.
And I'm telling you right now, I don't believe that anymore.
No.
I'm going against that grain.
That's good.
And it may be a harder road, but I don't give a shit.
No,
because it's
I
like-
don't think it's a harder road. I'm just saying my situation, and I think all people out there are, they have their choices, okay? And if that becomes part of who you are, that's part of who I was,
Right.
okay?
But it's not the whole thing.
It's not the whole thing, and that is part of what paves your life to come. And I'm doing different things with my life now. I've just opened up a society called Global Sound Lodge, which is a bunch of musicians coming together. We call it the New Musical Consciousness. It's online right now, globalsoundlodge.com, and we're doing a lot of different stuff. That's not like, if it's on Blabbermouth, people are going, "Hey, Matt's doing what?" He's like the dude from the heavy metal band. I got other stuff. I got other stuff I want to do.
Listen, before we go, plug whatever you want to plug.
Okay.
And I wish we didn't really get a chance, but we'll do it again. we didn't get a chance to talk about Camp Freddy really because that's
Okay.
kind of
Yeah, we got off on some tangents.
no, but that's fine. That's what this is. It's like I want real, like
Yeah.
us just talking. I don't want
Yeah.
to say this is what we have to talk about.
Right.
But I did want to tell you that I was really, really looking forward to playing with you when I came up for Camp Freddy.
Yeah.
And I was, and Travis Barker, monster drummer. But I did a Guns N' Roses song.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan of all the stuff you do. So I was bummed.
Oh, man.
And I'm hoping we'll get a chance to do
I
it.
watched you on the YouTube.
And the YouTube. Oh, you know what the YouTube is?
I watched you.
The internet.
I watched you because Dave Navarro said you got to hear this guy.
And?
Dave's a big fan.
I know he's been
He said, "Check out
nothing
this."
but a good friend to me.
And I want to tell you something
And?
else.
What did you
Slash
think?
looked at it too.
No, he did it.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Uh-huh.
No, he didn't.
And Duff McKagan.
No, he didn't.
And that's all I got to say. That's all I got to
Wait,
say.
what? Did you like it?
Well, yeah, we all liked it. We're
Did you
gonna,
like it?
we,
But I don't do drugs, and I
what-
don't have
no,
tattoos
none
and
of us
stuff.
do drugs anymore.
Well, there
Thank
you
God.
go.
Thank God we're still alive.
Yeah, but I'm not an asshole. You told me I have to be an asshole.
No, I was just joking.
Oh, okay. Oh, well,
You
you're
just be-
lucky because
Paul-
Alex. I was about to beat up Alex.
Paulie,
when
you
left.
be yourself.
bastard.
You be yourself.
I am
You
gonna be myself.
You be
Fuck that.
exactly who
That's-
you are.
That's cool enough.
That's cool enough.
Matt, did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Oh,
Do you want me to plug my shit real quick?
Yes, anything you want to plug.
Okay, okay.
There's only like 6 people that listen to the show anyway, but go
Okay,
ahead.
here's
plug
what I'm
it.
working on. Okay, I got this killer group called Darling Stilettos. It's 4 girl dancers. It's a rock and roll. Oh, God, it's sexy. Okay, darlingstilettos.com if you want to check it out. I'm actually playing drums too with Nick Perry on guitar from Shinedown and Silver Tide.
I know those guys.
And we've been playing in Vegas at the Palms, and we're doing the Key Club February 18th. And it's cool. Come check it out. Also, globalsoundlodge.com. Just launched the front page today. We just did a song for Haiti with Slash. We're going to have that streaming on the internet. We're going to donate all the money to 3 different charities that we're involved in. That's really exciting. We're doing global conscious music. Completely different trip for me. I'm playing acoustic guitar and singing on a lot of it. We've got a song that we're doing for Iran, one for Nada, who got shot in the elections in Iran. Aung San Suu Kyi, the president of Burma that's been imprisoned now by the military, who was actually elected as president of Burma. We're doing a song about her, and we're going to continue our efforts to help Haiti. So it's really interesting and really fun and very global conscious. And music can save the world, as said by John Coltrane, the love supreme. And I really feel the more music, the better. And thank you for listening. I think that's about it. Check out mattsorum.tv to keep up with my life and what I'm doing. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, and all that other good stuff.
Well, it's my show, so I have to say the final word.
Okay.
Okay. That's it. All right, later.
See ya.
Woo!
Yo, Paulie.
Hey, I say the last word. Yo, Paul.
She's in love with